listening to Retro Rewind with Dave Harris. One-on-one.
Retro Rewind!
All right, Dave Harris from Retro Rewind. A great honor to have back to the show. You did the show back in '01, in New York, New York City.
When is that long ago? Don't even tell me that.
It's, the world's changed a whole lot since the past 7 years.
Yeah, well, all night long is not that anymore.
Well, no.
I just want to let you know.
Exactly. This is actually before 9/11, so, this was like around May of '01.
Wow, isn't that crazy? Okay, no, I keep thinking you take a blink.
Yeah.
I thought it was at least 06 or 05. No, it was 01. Yeah. Whoa.
We, for whatever reason, I don't guess we caught up with you on the last one, but we're glad to have you back. And we want to talk about this the new CD. And of course, we had the privilege of watching a little bit of your interview with Tavis. We want to thank all those guys for putting us up here. We're kind of in one of the mini dressing rooms they have here, kind of explaining the seating arrangement and stuff. But the new CD. I even went back and listened to a little bit of our 01 interview with you that we just spoke of, and it's a good one. It's a real good one. And you talked a little bit about how you approach each new album and how it's not. You don't look at it as the legendary this or the legendary that. You kind of muddy up the water a little bit by trying different things. And I think you were working with some up-and-coming writers at the time who weren't really hitting yet, like I think Rodney and Mark and some of those guys. How does this album compare? What's the latest with this one?
Well, the first thing you have to do, and I still stand by those words, you have to take your body of work, basically, and throw them out the window. Yeah. It doesn't exist. If you come to the table with your body of work, then it's overwhelming and you can't get it together. And this album, the same. I decided to do something a little different. Instead of Lionel Richie, the writer, going in and writing some more stuff with some more guys and trying to do it together, I've now identified some of the great writers of this time. This is Neo's time. This is Akon's time, and Stargate, and The Movement, and Tricky and Dream, and these it's their time. And so and every time I meet a brand new writer, it doesn't matter, the first thing he said was, man, I'm a big fan, and one day if I could just do something with you. Really? Are you serious about that? Okay, here's what I want you to do. Lionel Richie 2009, what does he sound like? Write that song. No suggestions, no, I don't do that, or I don't do it that way. Just whatever you feel, the hybrid of Lionel Richie 2009, bring it to me. That's what this album is. And I must admit, it was absolutely perfect. Because it wasn't, I told him, let's not be respectful. Let's stop all that. Let's go in and anything you want me to try. Because that's how I started with the Commodores. When we did Slippery When It's Wet, how did we come with, Al, come on, hey! Yeah. Okay, I didn't sing like that. Right. So, but the guitar player said, try this. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm taking a little bit of advice from him, then I can take a little bit of advice from Neo, or a little bit of advice from Tricky and Dream. So it's really starting over again and not having any identity yet of who Lionel Richie is. We know, but let's see where you think I should be. And this album is absolutely, genuinely just pure. It's pure talent, it's pure melody. And not only that, it's solid music, it's solid songs. They did discover melody again, if that's the right word. They brought it back, and I'm saying that I'm glad to be a part of it because it's really strong. It's done well. I love it. That's me talking without writing a song, without writing a word. It's one of those things where I love what I put my voice on.
Now, but did you co-write or write some of these songs? Or?
I only did one song, and that's, of course, Eternity. The rest of it is their interpretation of Lionel Richie.
Wow, now
it's Akon's interpretation of Lionel Richie. It's Neo's interpretation of Lionel Richie. I gave him carte blanche.
Wow, because that's just amazing. I'm looking at a guy who wrote 9 #1 hits in a row for from '78 to '86, Oscar winner, and.
But we don't. Sometimes you have to. I discovered one great thing about the pedestal. You know what's up there? Nothing. You got to get off the pedestal and come back down and play some more. They only use that pedestal for award shows. But then if you really want to get into an experiment and be dangerous and scare yourself to death, if you're really kind of scaring yourself to death, you're in the right neighborhood. If you're a little calm and you think, I'm doing another album and it's my 23rd album and I figure I'm going to do this, there's no danger to it. This could have been either fabulous or disastrous.
Well, I know that you take, you say you take chances with each album. You try some new things. You're not afraid to do something of that nature.
Let me correct that. Terrified.
Terrified.
But
okay.
things that make me nervous means I'm doing something I've never been in that place before. You know what I'm saying? You have to put yourself in. Every night, if I walk on stage, there's a little thing about the first 15 minutes. Why? Haven't been back to Chicago in quite a while. So you walk on stage assuming, I don't know, I know they're screaming, but, and then of course 15 minutes in, you're locked. But you want that little fire in the belly. That's called respect, Well, the same thing happens with the record. You can't approach this record with, I'm Lionel Richie, so of course this is going to be a killer. You got to have a little something to scare you.
Was that a little hard for you to let go, though, or give that carte blanche, as you said, to some of these artists?
No.
I mean, you put feelers out to who to work with, right?
But what you want them to do is it's not something I'm soliciting. You put out and say, you want to do something with Lionel Richie? Are you kidding me? Yes. Or some guys goes, I don't know what to do. Okay, it's fine. But when you get back that kind of enthusiasm, and I'm going to give you a perfect example of fear, just so you understand. When I did Ceylon, that was country, and I was an R&B band.
Right.
All night long, scared to death. 3 times later was in the middle of disco. Okay, so you gotta be, if it doesn't scare you to death when you're putting it out, it's not the edge.
But you kind of went with your gut on all of those, and I'm sure the same here, right?
My gut and about 9 people behind me pushing me through the door.
Because listen, I think that you're the Irving Berlin of our time. You've written all of these soundtracks to a lot of our lives. Well, it's very true. You've inspired people, and I'm sure you've obviously had to inspire the people that you've worked with on this new CD.
Well, there were 2 questions, and both of them were answered. My question was, what does a hit record sound like in 2009 for Lionel Richie? And their question to me was, how do you last 30 years in the business?
Right.
So by the time we finished working together, both questions were kind of answered. It's a mutual admiration society when someone has the now button, and they're firmly sitting on it. It's not like they're guessing where the now button is. There's a point in time where the sounds, what the melodies are going to be, it's going to work. And no one can take that away from you. At the same time, what you're looking at is the difference between now and then 30 years from now. Now, if you had told me Brick House was going to be 30 years later, we were saying makes an old man wish for younger days as a joke.
Right.
And every night I sing it on stage now, the band points to me. So, you have to understand, the joke turned into, but it's a song that we can't leave the stage without.
Well, and you probably didn't know. You were just, writing songs, trying to have some fun, maybe earn a living. You had probably no clue those songs were going to last the test of time.
The first 5 albums were all about how many girls can you get to pack into the front row of the that's what we were doing. No one used the word career, but we didn't realize that we were with Motown University, and we were being taught by Berry Gordy and Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson, who understood. They were songsmiths. They understood how to structure a song, no gimmicks, don't put any key little words like groovy, or don't use any dates, because once you put a date in there, it's locked into that date. Don't use any hip words of today. Use words that 25 years from now, those words will still apply. Now, those are easy lessons, but it worked. Yeah. It worked.
You're listening to Retro Rewind with Dave Harris.
Retro Rewind.